Hey everyone, it's Nicole and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm here today for Hip Kits using the March kit, and this is my first layout using the March kit. And the challenge today is to use the Pinkfresh and Chamel stickers in the kit in a kind of a fun way. So I took a look at both packs and they're both really fantastic, and there's bits I liked from each of them, but I was kind of inspired, to be honest, just by the shape of the ones in the Pinkfresh Studio package. So you can't really see them right now because my paper strips are covering it, but there's these fun kind of diamond square shapes that are pre-printed, and some have patterns and some have different sayings on them. So I'm going to do that kind of pattern to the back of my layout, mimicking that with some paper as well, and then including those same stickers there. You can kind of see them there on the right-hand side. So I have gone ahead and just cut some 1.5 inch squares, and now I'm just peeling off one of the February cut files I took and created a bit of like a frame with it. I manipulated the file a little bit on my Silhouette software, and I'm just kind of cutting this out, and as you can see, my mat is not super sticky, so some of the bits didn't cut as great as I'd like to have done, but it all worked out in the end, so I'm not too worried about it. So I'm just going to kind of clip off some of these little nasty bits that are stuck. And you can see I kind of just have like a bit of a frame here, mat for my photo, and then I've just clustered some of the flowers and leaves in around that out of the white cardstock that's from the kit. So just really simple. I'm going to use white cardstock for the base of my page too, and the idea is that it's kind of like a tone-on-tone thing happening. It's not overly floral. So I'm trying to decide. I thought about putting the layout on this coral colored cardstock because it's super pretty, but too much. Same with the mint green, was just too much. So I'm just going to use some of that coral here as a mat for my black and white photo because it's pretty black and white. I probably should have printed it in color, but I didn't, so we're not going to go back now. I'm just going to add a thin little mat around my photo of that coral color, and then put the photo here onto my mat that I made. And then I'll use my pop dots to pop that up as well and add a little bit more just because it's pretty big. So it's going to kind of go in the middle of my page, and now I have found some more strips of paper that I didn't cut down, so I'm just cutting those to 1.5 inch squares, and some of them I use both of the sides of the paper and some of them I don't. So I have these squares here that you can see, and I'm going to kind of place my first half square, also known in all around the world as a triangle, to the top of my page, and I'm going to make some rows across. So the stickers are they're just a little bit larger than 3/4 of an inch. So I doubled that and made that's why I made the squares 1.5 inches. I didn't want them to be super large and then have tiny little squares. So I'm trying to kind of center them. You can see I used one as a guideline to kind of put it close to the center, and I'm not really measuring a lot with this. A lot of it is just eyeballing. I will use my ruler a little bit just to make sure things are kind of straight, but I'm not really worried too much if it's 1/4 of an inch in one place and maybe 0.375 at another place. As long as it's relatively straight rows, that's kind of all I'm worrying about at this point. And I'm using those squares of paper in different color groupings and patterns, just to make kind of like the top half of my layout with that diamond kind of grid pattern. I do spend more time on this being finicky than I actually thought I was going to do. And I'm just lining up, you can see with my ruler there, the 2 little points on the square, just to make sure that they're tilted the same kind of angle too. So it is a little bit finicky. But it is what it is, and I'm just trying to make sure I don't have too many dark spots and light spots, so I'm kind of mixing up. When you see me moving paper around, that's just all I'm doing. And I'm filling in with these half squares, also known as triangles. I'm not going to put that up there. I don't think that's kind of lost up there. So I'm going to kind of fill those in and have my points kind of match up a bit there with the smaller sticker versus the larger square. And obviously things won't completely match up because I'm using 2 different sizes of stickers and paper, and that's okay. I think in the end it's a pretty good trick. It's not super noticeable. And if it is, I'm okay with that too. So I'm just altering up here where I'm putting all the different items. And once you kind of get rolling, it goes pretty quick. I guess I could have cut a whole background of squares already die cut out of the white and then just layered the papers in behind them. I definitely could have done that, but I just didn't, and I thought it'd be quicker to do it this way. And I'm okay with not really measuring super much. So I'm just making sure all my points kind of are relatively level. And you can see I'm just fiddling around with that. Excuse me. And I really like this pretty, it's almost like a red, it's like that red coral paper. So I really like that one. I want to use a couple pops of that. And then I know I'm going to put my photo relatively in this area, so I'm not going to fill the whole top of the page in, but I am going to try to use as many of those little stickers as I possibly can. And I'm going to add just another little yellow one here. In hindsight, I should have moved it over a little bit more. You'll see that later, as you can't even really see that paper later, but that's okay. So now I'm just going to add a quick zip of stitching down through each of those rows, and that kind of just unifies the stickers and the paper that I've cut. And I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time at this, and some of these rows they're relatively straight, but some of them might be off just slightly, and I'm okay with that. So quick little zips on my sewing machine. I'm using white thread because the background is white, and so I don't want to have a lot of extra color going on, but definitely you could use a colored thread too. And one last row, and then that is that. And so I'm just going to trim this all off here really quickly. And I notice I don't really need to add any washi to the back of mine. I don't really worry too much about my thread peeling up the back, but you certainly could add washi tape to the back to stick your thread down if that's what you wanted. And then I'm just going to trim off the top of my layout here. So that's pretty much how that turned out. Really kind of easy and fun. So now I'm just going to take some more of the stickers here that I want to use, and I added some foam adhesive because I'm going to pop those kind of in and around my photo. And then I'm trying to decide what I want to use from the Chamel stickers because I really wanted to use some of these too. They're really fun. So I know I want to use this Love You Little Tiny sticker. And then I kind of got sidetracked with the stickers, and I found these exclusive Hip Kit enamel dots that are super perfect, the perfect colors. And then I realized, oh, I'm just going to use the Happy Life here off the Chamel stickers for my title. So really, I didn't use a whole lot of paper from the kit. I did, but a very small amount. Most of this page, not all of it, I guess. There's a lot of paper, but a lot of it has stickers too. So that's pretty good when you can use something other than just paper for your layout. I'm just going to fill the circles in the middle of the flowers with those enamel dots, and then kind of fool around at this point where I want to put my title and my photo. So I decide I'm going to go kind of off center slightly with my photo, and I'm going to use the happy and then end up using the life also later on as part of my title. But it seems pretty white, like this layout is seeming pretty white to me right now. And then I thought I wish I were artsy like my fellow DT members and can watercolor fantastically, but I am not an expert in that area, so I will leave that to them. But I decided to add a few little droplets of mist just to kind of like mess it up a little in my own clean little way. So I added some teal kind of droplets of mist that I had in my stash, and now I'm just going to stick my photo down and commit to that before I move on to the next kind of bit. So I'm just going to off-center that just ever so slightly and start playing around with where I want to put the title. So I think I'm going to end up with it here down underneath my photo. So I'm going to add these other stickers here with the foam adhesive. And then I found this other sticker on the Chamel sticker pack about happiness, so I added that in. And I'm really trying hard to use more of the stickers, but I end up just using this life for part of the title. And I am adding some foam adhesive to that just so it's kind of at the same height as my photo. So just adding a little bit of that there. And then I decided to play with the Dear Lizzy washi tape. So I really love these floral patterns, and I thought, oh, this would be cool, like little rub-ons. So maybe I'll just cut some of these babies out and then add them in and around my flowery grouping just to kind of fill in some of the areas. And I really think that the black's a great neutral color to have on every layout in little tiny bits. And so I thought, oh, this would look kind of cool. So I started fussy cutting some of the flowers out, which are really small on this washi tape, but super cute. And I knew I know you can like color this washi tape, and I had no intention of doing that. I really just wanted to use it in the black and white version. So I'm trying to think, do I want to do that again? Because I'll be honest, that was pretty finicky to cut out with a thin tape like that. It was pretty fussy. It looks pretty cute on there. It looks just like a rub-on or a stamped image. So I haven't quite given up on that, as you will see in a minute. But I just put it to the side for now because it's not that it's difficult to cut, but it's really fussy. Much more fussy than I'm prepared for at this time of the day. So I'm just going to add my title here, and then I'll add one of the hearts from the Pink Fresh pack as the eye for my life, with some foam adhesive, of course. And then I get back to my washi tape assignment. So you can see here I've cut it out, and once you stick it onto the white cardstock, you can't really tell that it was cut out like that. So I decided I'm going to grab a scrap piece of cardstock that's white, and then I'm going to cut this out from there, and that kind of just a little more stable. So you get the same kind of effect. It's way easier to cut it out. So if you want to cut some of these out, it's way easier this way. I would peel off a big chunk like I did there, put it on the white cardstock, and then kind of trim around it. And that way you get your trimmed out image, and you're not like sticking it all onto yourself and sticking up your scissors. It actually is really, as you can see, it's going much quicker and easier for me that way. And then what you can do once you kind of have it on this white cardstock is you can leave it on there. I didn't, but you could just leave it on there and use it, add some adhesive to the back and stick it in. But I actually decided to peel it off the back of the white cardstock and then just stick it down. So the little tiny bit of cardstock is just garbage now, and it looks more like, like a sticker or a stamp or something. So I'm just kind of peeling them off that scrap of cardstock, because really the cardstock is just the vessel to help me get it cut, if that makes any sort of sense. It was way easier, so it was way less frustrating. And so if you're planning on doing that, that's kind of, I guess, my suggestion is give that a try. You might save yourself a little bit of heartache. And even these there's tiny little flowers on this washi tape. It's not hard to cut out once you get it stuck onto this cardstock. So just kind of filling in a few little bitty areas here. And yeah, sorry about the bad glare off my photo. I realize it's pretty bad, but of course there's a light right where that photo is sitting. So sorry about that. Plus you get the reflection off the title. Gold foil is never kind to the eyes in photos and videos. So I'm just really filling in my area here with more of those little tiny bitty flowers, and I'm just using a paper piercer to kind of peel them off and place them. And for the most part, I think that's pretty much how the whole page comes together. Once I get all these little tiny bits on there, that's really it. So that's my page right there. So you can see kind of how it all fills in. You can really get a good idea here of the cutout washi tape there, how it just adds some little tiny bits, almost like stamped images. I really like how this one turned out, and thanks to the stickers for being the inspiration of this page, because this is something I probably wouldn't have thought of. So I really like the different variation of the triangles or squares. Super fun and really super easy page, right? Anyway, thanks for stopping by my YouTube. I will see you all again very soon. Have a great day.